Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 810, we're going to talk about Saryth, the Viper's Fang. I love this card. For 4 mana, we get a 3/4. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch, and other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. And for 1 mana, you can untap another target creature or land. That is, I'll admit, when I first saw this, the very first card I thought of was Finn the Fangbearer. Now, our commander says our tapped creatures have Death Touch. Attacking, as soon as you declare a creature as an attacking creature, unless it has Vigilance, it does tap. Now, there is one Nombo in the deck. I have 1 card with Vigilance, but it was too good for me not to play. So the idea here is, as soon as you declare them as attackers, they tap and have Death Touch. So your all the way down to your Llanowar Elves. If you get it early, that's awesome. And then once you get to the point where you just don't need it anymore, well, you can start swinging with it because it has Death Touch, and it's probably not getting blocked. If Fang's out there, it's a big target on all of your creatures. So with that in mind, we have a whole lot of creatures. All of our ramp, since we're already on Llanowar, all of our ramp are creatures. We have Fertilid, Druid of the Cowl, Gilandra, Caller of Wirewood, Werebear, Elvish Mystic, Green Weaver Druid, the Beanstalk Giant, utility there, Findhorn Elder, and then these last 2 got me thinking, the Yavimaya Dryad and the Farhaven Elf. Now we see those quite a bit, but that led me down a road, Stampeding Wildebeest. 5/4 Trample is a really good. By the way, Trample, also another valuable ability here, because if something has Trample and Death Touch, Trample states that you must assign lethal damage to the blocker before trampling over to the player. So, if the creature has Trample and Death Touch, which, by the way, has never been printed together because of this rule, sounds kind of sketchy, but I assure you, you can deal 1 damage to the blocker and have the rest trample over to the player. And of course, if you have your commander out in the other legend, things get nasty quick. So you can kill creatures it doesn't matter if it's a 10/10, 1 damage kills it, and the other 4, in this case, for Stampeding Wildebeest, will trample over to the player. Yeah, I don't know how long that's been around a while. So, but anyway, Stampeding Wildebeest has the quote-unquote drawback of you have to return a green creature to your hand every turn. Well, we have those creatures that have an enters play ability in ETB, so we also have the Roaring Promodox and the Stampeding Sarrow to get multiple uses out of those. They reside a little more in the removal, so we'll go ahead and, the Viridian Shaman, Acidic Slime, Manglehorn, Conclave Naturalist. So we will get back to our creatures here in a second. Card draw. We have, with so many creatures, Beast Whisperer had to be in there. I've got Yavimaya Elder in there because you're always going to draw that card. Oran Viper. Beautiful card. Hardwood Storyteller. Since we have so many creatures, it is going to draw us more cards than our opponents. Garruk's Pack Leader and Garruk's Horde. Running Brawn because of obviously I want my whole team to have Trample. Let's see. I have a slight, before we get into the creatures proper, I did put in some Land walk, just in case. Unblockability is a beautiful thing, and unblockability and infect or whatever, not bad. So buy your dragonfly for the swamp walk, river boa, and bull hippo for the island walk, and then anaconda on swamp walk. Now here's the beautiful part about taunting elf. Provided both of our creatures that we want in play, one of us our commander, and if the poison guy's in play, then taunting elf just kills someone, because that means that their entire team has to block taunting elf, and the rest of your team gets through. So good, I run a second copy in Prized Unicorn, which, by the way, this art is outstanding. Let's see, a few more creatures here. Cockatrice, green dragon kind of rounds out our flyers. Aggressive mammoth, giving the team trample there again, because I wanted that trample on everyone. So Avatar of Might. Now my good buddy Jim played this deck, and I think I have to agree with him. Avatar of Might needs to come out, because we're going to be paying full value for it all the time, as many creatures as we have. So tell you what, ask y'all for suggestions down in the comments below. What needs to be in here in place of Avatar of Might? So we have Battle Mammoth, Jetted Ojanin of Efrava, Moldgraph Monstrosity, Elder Scale Worm, Penumbra Worm, Primeval Protector, Annoyed Altasaur. Now that the Cascade 4 times guy might be a decent swap for the Avatar. Sky Shroud Warbeast, I think, is criminally underplayed. Equal to the number of non-basic lands target opponent controls. There is always that player at the table who has far too many basic lands, and you just look across there, or non-basics, you look across there and you think, man, if somebody has a Blood Moon, you're done for. Those are the players that make Sky Shroud Warbeast worth playing. Forgotten Ancient, Spawn Wraith, Scavenging Ooze, keeping that graveyard in check. Verdurous Gearhulk, Brontotherum. Now, I like Brontotherum because if it has Death Touch and Trample, that provoke, you get to pick your blocker. Just untap it and pick your blocker, so that is nice. Brooding Sauron, Rampaging Baloth, not bad. Hero's Bane, Hunted Troll, and we've got the one aforementioned Nombo, the End-Raise Forerunners. It does have trample, and it does grant trample that turn. Now, I have played this where I have Stampeding Wildebeest this thing back to my hand and done it a couple of times in a row. Granted, that's expensive. This is my overrun in the deck. That's now this new card, Unnatural Growth. Is it just me, or is this a powerhouse of a card? Double the power and toughness of each creature you control till end of turn. Do have a couple weird cards, don't really fit in a category like Fog. There are times when, because we are going to be very aggro, and I'm probably going to use Fog more defensively than anything else, because there are times you are confident, you swing out, your opponent does some weird shenaniganery, and you regret your decision to attack, so you Fog. Blanchwood Armor. Nice, especially with a lot of trampling, right? And then Vitalize. Vitalize is, I don't want to say vital to the deck, because that's, but your untapped creatures have hexproof, right? So, if they're all tapped and they have Death Touch and somebody wants to pick one or two of them off, Hex gets played a lot around these parts, so you can Vitalize, untap them all, and they instantly gain hexproof. It's a beautiful thing. Now, the removal that's left over that I haven't already shown you: Thrashing Brontodon, Gem Razor, and Scavenger Folk. That's right, Scavenger Folk. Looks very surprised. Some Cycling Land and Tranquil Thicket, Slippery Karst, Desert of the Indomitable, Myriad Landscape, Blighted Woodland, and lastly, of course, our Rogue's Passage. It's hard not to have a Rogue's Passage in a mono green deck with Blanchwood Armor, right? Sometimes you just got to get through. These laid down. You know what? I think all of them will lay down. Get our Penumbra Worm token there. And we will go put Saryth on the wall. 810. We're going to finish up a row today. Now, due to what happened in the 700 block, with the tightness, and because I'm operating with 2 different boxes, the next 10 decks, that next solid row, will be all older decks in the previous deck box that I have not finished yet. Also helps me catch up some of the old stuff too. So that's what I'll do to try to, and I may have to do it again once or twice over the next of the 800 block, but we will see. Anyway, I do appreciate y'all watching, liking, sharing, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.